morning, Unity of Tucson. Thank you. So, if you're willing and able, if you'd like to stand, wave your arms, clap your hands, let's do our opening song. Linda?
About you, I see the fire within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is alright. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is alright. I see you dripping with abundance and ease. I see you enjoying the life that you please. Playful at work and creative at play. I see you in gratitude for every single day. And I say, I know the truth about you. I see the fire within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is alright. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is alright. I know the dreams of your heart want to fly. It's time to spread your wings and give it a try. The love you give, you know you're about to receive. Good can only grow the more you believe. Come on now, I know the truth about you. I see the power within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is alright. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Your biggest self can't be denied. You've got no place to hide because I know the truth about you. I see the power within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is alright. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is alright. I know the truth about you. I see the power within you. I know that love surrounds you. Everything is alright. I know the truth about you. I see the light within you. Just let it shine on brightly. Everything is alright.
Wow, thank you, Aaron. So, everything is all right this morning. Once again, welcome to Unity of Tucson, to those in the room, and especially to those online watching us. If you're new and watching us online, we'd like to have you go to unitytucson.com/connect, and there's some information you can fill out if you'd like us to get back to you and just have a little conversation. Now, if you're new in the room, hopefully you got a gift bag. If not, you can pick one up on the way out on the table out there. But besides the gift bag, we also have something else for you that's even more wonderful. So if you're willing and able, if you're here for the first time, would you please stand up and remain standing? Ooh, okay. Wow. Okay, so keep standing because we've got this incredible gift for you. Is everyone else ready? Okay, here we go. You are magnificent. Thank you. You can be seated. So the reason that we know that you're magnificent is because we know the truth about each and every one in this room and in fact around the world. And that is that we're all magnificent. So would you please join me in saying, there we go. I am magnificent. Thank you so much. So we are a spiritual community that celebrates love. And one of the ways that we go about this is we have a vision statement. And it often shows up there. Yeah, if I do the stuff in order. So would you say the vision state with me? We envision a world wakened to its magnificent. Okay, so how do we get there? Well, the way we get there is through our mission statement. And I'd like you to say the mission statement with me also. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Another thing that we do here that, as I said last week, I don't know if anybody else in the world even does this, is we have a ceremony called Lighting the Flames of Faith. And to lead this ceremony this morning, as most mornings, we have Laura Cass.
And Mary Alls.
And Mary Alls assisting.
Yes. Yes, actually, Mary is doing the lighting. There you go. Good morning, everyone. Oh, all you beautiful people on this beautiful Tucson morning. Whew, we love it. Okay, so this is supposed to be serious. I'm going to get you serious now. All right. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to divine love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. The final candle is the healing candle. It represents the revealing of the divinity at the core of all experience. This is your candle for whatever is in your mind and heart that requires the light.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Mary. The candle on your left is our peace candle, and we keep it illuminated 24/7, and we're going to keep it illuminated until there's peace throughout this earth. So would you please say with me, okay, divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. I am being sad, and peace begins to reign in the world. Thank you. Today's prayer chaplain is the esteemed Sherry Hoffman.
He asked me, who's doing the reading? And I said, me. And he goes, okay, so I'll introduce you as me. All right. Well, today's reading is coming from a book written by Ernest Holmes and Willis H. Kinner. It is titled A New Design for Living. I stumbled upon this during our Wednesday in-person prayer service, and I am so glad I did. Today's reading is coming from chapter 2. It is titled Adventures in Thinking, from the section that is labeled Your Freedom to Think. How are you directing your thoughts? We are free to think in any direction we choose. There is nothing that says we have to think one way or another. Just as there could be no restrictions on the thought of God, so there are no restrictions on what you think. We alone may determine what our thoughts we desire to entertain. This prerogative on our part seems to get us in trouble. Why? For one reason or another, we find ourselves surrounded by people that wallow in fear. Fear of this, fear of that, fear of anything that comes along. We seem to be afraid of anything we do not know about. We fear what an ache may mean. We fear what tomorrow might bring. We fear what we might lose, we might have. If and when a fear becomes something specific, we know what we have to cope with and can do something about it. But until then, we seem to be fearful of everything. Fear is not but a process of the thought, and thought is creative. So we come to experience what we have feared. Logical, sad but true. But that's when it gets good. Once we are aware of what our patterns of thinking may have done to create the undesirable situation that we find ourselves in today, we are in a position to switch from creating what we don't desire to building a future which will contain abundance, harmony, and the perfection that has to reside at the heart of the universe. We got ourselves into the trouble we may now find ourselves in, and we can just as easily get ourselves out of it. We begin by saying that the greatest discovery humans could ever make was the discovery of the creative power of our thought. Perhaps the greatest achievement humans can attain is the creative use of our thought for our experiencing of the greater good in every aspect of our lives. So with that, we like to do affirmations around here to help create the world in the way that we would like to have it and experience it. So I will read this month's affirmation on renew. And as we've been saying it for a couple weeks now, just let that absorb for a few minutes because it's a pretty good one. And then we'll repeat it a couple times together just to affirm it in that positive affirmation way. I am constantly renewed by the knowledge of my inherent identity of God. Shall we say that together? I am constantly renewed by the knowledge of my inherent identity, God. One more time, just to seal the deal. I am constantly renewed by the knowledge of my inherent identity, God.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is
taking a few moments to just settle in to the energy of this moment. This energy is the God source energy that is flowing through each and every one of us. It is the divine. And it is this energy that I can embrace and I tap into as I affirm that today will unfold in majestic ways. As I affirm that today I will step forth in the knowledge that my thoughts create. And as I think and I create, I embrace that God source energy that is flowing through me. And I affirm that all is well and unfolding in perfect harmony. And I affirm this by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender. Let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Now and evermore. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Well, now that we're all settled down, I'm going to warn you, if you've got a seatbelt on your seat, you may want to buckle it up for this next song. We heard this song at the recent concert we had at Unity of Tucson, and Aaron has graciously consented to perform this song this morning for your entertainment. So, Aaron Anderson.
Happy to be here with you all. Grab your hat and grab your coat. Leave your worries by the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can you hear that pitter pat? Well, that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. This rover has crossed over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. Well, I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. This rover has crossed over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street.
Okay, you can unbuckle your seatbelts now. Oftentimes when the minister leaves, we bring in many places bring in a bunch of guest speakers. I guess we're really fortunate, and I know personally I'm grateful that although we do that, we don't have to do that because we have a lot of talent right here, right within our own membership. And this morning's speaker, I particularly love listening to her. And I invite you to really listen to the message she has today, because in a world of infinite possibilities, there exists the possibility that while she's talking, you're going to hear something that absolutely changes your life. So without further ado, Susan Smith.
Oh, thank you so much for that lovely introduction, William, and Aaron. So lovely, thank you. Gosh, it just got me all going, right? So good morning, everyone. What a delight to see you all here this morning. So the theme this month is renew. And when I heard the theme renew, you know what came to my mind? I don't know if anyone else, the things I constantly am like renewing that I don't want to renew. Those auto renewal subscriptions, anybody else have an issue with that? I did check some of these things. Good news, I no longer have a renewal for my Crochet World, which I never, ever use, ever. So I'm really proud of myself. I'm going to don't worry, you can pat yourself on the back. Got that one. I do still have a subscription to an Avast security protection that I don't know what it's protecting. So that one I kind of need to work on, right? Like something's being protected and I'm paying for it. And so this happens, right? We subscribe to things, we forget it comes up on the auto renewal, and then it just goes forth. And this made me think about those thoughts, ideas, beliefs we hold in consciousness, which also rise up, right? We might have thought, oh, I unsubscribed to that long ago. I let that go. And then it bubbles back up and you renewed it without even knowing it. You know what I'm talking about? Those limited ideas, those thoughts that like, I just would rather not have any more of that. Oh, there it is again. Okay, my old friend out. You know? And that's really what I want to talk about today, because what we teach in Unity is that we get to choose to renew. We have a choice when those old subscriptions come up to us and those old things that we don't want to renew anymore, that are in our consciousness, in our awareness, we have a choice point. And it's such a gift. Those choice points are our gifts. Because once we become aware of it, guess what? We can let them go and choose to renew. Choose to renew our knowledge of our divine identity and our awareness. And this is a constant practice. So my goal this morning is threefold, and we'll see how I do. There's a timer back there. I'm going to do my best to stay within time. So it's big, though. It's good. I'm glad I can see that, guys. Don't worry. I'm seeing it. So my goal today is to talk about really a little bit more what I mean, tell you why this is so important, especially within our consciousness, to make these choices. And then I hope to give you some ideas about how to do this. And it's a big thing, but I'm going to try and give you some suggestions, all right? So what do I mean? I'm going to talk a little bit about Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore, because to me, she really exemplified the idea of renewal. And if you're unfamiliar with her story, or if you're familiar with it, it's always a good one to share again. So Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore, when she was about 41 years old, this was about 1886, she was not well. She, in her words, and I'm probably paraphrasing, she said, we were a poor and sickly lot. She was diagnosed with tuberculosis, is our understanding. It was and her prognosis wasn't good. She was doing everything. She was not feeling well. The family wasn't thriving. And her husband were searchers, and they were always looking for answers and trying to do better. So Myrtle Fillmore and her husband went to a lecture by a man named E.B. Weeks. And in this lecture, they heard the word. She heard afterwards. She said, I heard. And she renewed this thought. This thought renewed her identity, her understanding of her inherent worth and value, her identity as divine. She heard, I am a child of God, and I cannot inherit sickness. Now, this was very powerful for Myrtle, because Myrtle, all through her growing up, her conditioning that she had received, because that's where those subscriptions come from, right? The conditioning, the words, and the messages we've gotten that are, below our level of awareness. We don't always know that that's there still. That conditioning that she was aware of and below her level of awareness was, you're sickly. She always heard that as a child. You don't have a strong body. You're not well. You just got to accept this. And she chose to gently let that go, because when Myrtle taught about letting things go, exercising what we would call denials, letting things go, she said, do it like a feather duster. And so I imagine Myrtle said, no, I'm going to let that idea go. And instead, she chose to renew her understanding of her divine identity. I am a child of God, and I do not inherit illness. Now, a note about language. When you hear that, you might go, well, was Myrtle talking about some being in the sky? No. She was talking about God as we talk here, within ourselves, within everyone, within all things. She would say, a God, when we talk about God, we're not talking about a being with parts like a man. Okay, so just so you know, she's talking about what we're saying when we're talking about our inherent divine identity. And so she did this so she really took this into prayer. And it was that constancy. It's a practice, right? We do it, and we go back, and we do it again and again and again. And she sat with this idea in prayer, and she talked to the organs in her body. It's such a beautiful idea. I'm sorry that I thought you weren't working well. I'm sorry, liver. I'm sorry, lungs. I'm sorry. I love you. You are just perfectly and divinely made. She sat with that, and within 2 years, she actually experienced a physical healing. And that's a great part of the story, and we wouldn't be here if she had not, well, maybe we would, I'm not sure, but that is a big part of her story. But to me, the main part of her story was when she had that moment of renewal, when she had that moment of awareness, when she had that moment of awareness saying, I am a child of God, and I do not inherit illness. Because you know what? That was the point in consciousness when she was aware. And that's what we're always talking about. It always starts in consciousness. Sometimes people experience a physical healing. Sometimes people don't. But these are helpful tools. And I know that's what Myrtle went on to teach all of us. So why is this such an important thing? And I'm going to turn to one of my favorite ministers. She was a teacher with Unity minister, editor, cohort of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founders of Unity. And this is Imelda Shanklin. And Imelda Shanklin says, your consciousness is your life. Your consciousness is your life. So that's why I say it's what the thoughts, ideas, beliefs. What are you holding up here? That's shaping your experience. The circumstances come and go in our life, but we get to choose the experiences of them based on how we think about them. Imelda Shanklin goes on further. She says, your knowledge of objects, states, or sensation is the world in which you live. You live in a small, mean world if your perceptions are small and mean. So Myrtle Fillmore's perceptions were small and mean when she thought she was sickly, right? And it wasn't that anyone was trying to hurt her by telling her that. That was their understanding. But she recognized that was a small, mean world. You live in a large, generous world, Imelda says. If your perceptions are large and generous, what is more large and generous than understanding that you are divine in expression? What is more large? What is more generous? And when we know this, and we see the light and recognize the light within us, guess what? We see it in each other, and we desire nothing more than to ignite that light in everyone else we meet. So this, like I said, is a helpful tool. As you hear this, you might go, well, do I have a choice in what I believe, what I think? You know, that's for you to answer. I don't know. You know, Reverend Jonathan Weekly always tells us, you know, you might not believe everything you hear today, but I believe you're going to hear something, believe something that you hear. It's not my, so what is that? And I'm going to ask you to really challenge yourself on that. Are you willing to believe that you can choose your thoughts? Like Myrtle did when she woke up, when she became aware, and we are here because of that? So how do we do this? That's what the big question is, right? So how do we do this? And I'm going to just give you a suggestion of a little tool that I use and talk about some ideas that I really like you to choose. And they're really in alignment with our mission statement. So the first of all thing is I really want to encourage you, once those ideas bubble up, those ones that you don't want, the ones that you've subscribed to, that you thought you dealt with already, the lacking, the not good enough, the fear ideas, the doubt, whatever that is. We each kind of have our own little playlist, right? I'm sure that things are probably coming into your head as I speak. When those ideas come up and you're aware of them in your consciousness, it's a gift. And in new thoughts, sometimes like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that way. Let that go. Stomp on it. No, it's a gift. It's like a weather vane. It's like a weather balloon in your consciousness telling, oh, there's something below my level of awareness that I thought I dealt with, but oh, this is something I can work on. It's an opportunity. It's a choice point. So that's the first thing. That's something that Reverend Eric Butterworth would talk about. That's a gift. It's an opportunity. When you become aware of something in your consciousness that you would rather let go of and you want to choose to renew your understanding and knowledge of your inherent identity, your divine identity, that is a gift and a choice point. So that's the first thing. Be grateful. Oh, it's a weather balloon. Okay, I can get this. Okay, and the second thing is, this is something I learned from Reverend Robin Ryder. And she is a Unity minister, and I learned about her through her Sacred Abundance program. And it's something I learned, and she's talking about the power of love. And this is one of our faculties, and I want to make it clear, this is talking about the faculty of love as a faculty. And what she talked about as a faculty, one of our 12 powers, love is our harmonizing faculty. It's so what we're paying attention to in consciousness, always in consciousness, is what we are asking for more. We're harmonizing with it. So when you have one thought, it's going to lead to another thought, it's going to lead to another thought, because we're harmonizing with that. It's not like we're really asking for it consciously, but we're harmonizing with it. So what she suggests, and I think it's a great tool, and something I use for myself, is just ask yourself, do I want more of this? Really ask yourself, when you find your thoughts tumbling down a road which you really would rather not tumble down anymore, which you would really like to remember the truth of who you are, ask yourself, do I want more of this? It's a great question to ask yourself. And there's 3 things that I read every morning to remind me of my the divine identity. And they really correlate very strongly with the mission statement that we read every week. And we've got these wonderful teachers, and I love it. I'm so connected to it. And I heard these, and I'm not going to go down a long road about where I heard these. This is just someone's description of what they heard, the messages they heard when they felt like they had an experience of heaven. And these were the 3 things they heard. And I'm going to share these with you, and I'm going to share how we can use some stories about looking at these messages and helping them be a choice point for us to remember them, to remember who we truly are. So the first one is, you have nothing to fear. I read this every morning. You have nothing to fear. Again, in consciousness, okay? I'm not saying that we all need to take protection. We need to set boundaries in our life. We need to listen to wise scientific advice. We need to be careful moving about the world in form, okay? And you have the divine wisdom and always to do that. But what I'm talking about is when I say to myself always, you have nothing to fear, I'm talking about in consciousness. I don't know about any of you, but I can really go down the road of worry. I call myself a chronic worrier in recovery, big time. I'm a recovering chronic worrier. I really appreciated your reading today. It was helpful to me. It was good, especially since I'm up here, right? So in consciousness, I'm saying create your boundaries, do all of that. And to me, when I read this and when I say this in the morning to myself, you have nothing to fear, This is remember who you are. Because you are a timeless being, eternal, right here, right now, always. There's nothing that you're always protected in that sense. You cannot lose the essence of yourself in any type of circumstance or condition. Now, I'll give an example of a time when I used this as a choice point, when I had one of those little weather balloons that came up and told me an idea I subscribed to. And this one I really had thought I'd gotten over, you guys. So after my mother died, I had inherited her house, and I was living in it for the first time by myself. I was sleeping at night because my beloved dog, TK, had just passed away. And I remember the very first time I'd been in this house alone, and I got really scared about being in this house alone at night. And this was an old pattern. This was from when I was in my 20s, guys. It was a little while ago. And it was an old pattern, and I'm like, wow, where is this coming from? And so the next night when this happened to me, I decided, okay, I'm imagining all sorts of ideas of negative things that might happen, when it was not realistic. It wasn't realistic. I lived in a very safe place. Some people do need to be careful where they live, right? But that was not my situation. I was creating all sorts of stories in my head about being unsafe. So what I ended up doing was, okay, that's my imagination. I have the power of imagination. I use that choice point. Okay, there's something I'm going to gently let go of this. This thought is not helping me. This belief in my lack of safety is not true. And I'm going to choose instead to lay in bed. And I literally used my power of imagination. I loved Harry Potter books. I just pretended I was going around with my little wands all around the house in my imagination, all the way around. And then I just put a protective dome over my house. I was using my power of imagination. And I did this night after night. And then, it wasn't really even a week when that fell away. That was a choice point for me. I had a choice, and I utilized my tools. I remembered who I was. I'm safe. I'm protected. I don't need all of these old ideas. Let that go gently. And I chose. And it is kind of funny. I'm just going to tell you, I still do this technique, and when I'm driving particularly. And if I see you around, and if you see me doing this, I'm doming you. So I'm just like, dome. So I'm telling you, if you see me doming, I'm like, oh, they need a dome. I'm kind of concerned, dome. It's a lot on the street and driving. But, if you ever see, and feel free to dome anytime. I'd love to see it. Let's make it happen. So this is the first thing. So you get to choose. Choose to renew your knowledge of your divine identity, which is God in expression. Remember who you are. You have nothing to fear. And an affirmation of this, I am divine, timeless being. I am safe always. So one of the things I worry about is that I might do something wrong. And this is the second one I want to share with you. There is nothing you can do wrong. Sounds a lot like forgive everything, right? Again, in consciousness, we can do things wrong as in form. But in consciousness, every moment is fresh and new. You are completely and 100% fully equipped to handle anything that comes your way right here, right now. Always and forever. Yep. I have a real quick example of this. So when I was becoming an LUT, I had to drive from the airport to Unity Village, about a 40-mile drive. And I went, long trip, got to the airport, got my rent-a-car, and they're like, can you drive manual, which is stick shift? I'm like, oh, yeah. And I didn't say yes, I wanted to. So I go in there, and they give me a manual car. I'm like, oh, I can do it. I can do this. Oh, it's six gears. What? It's 6 gears. I have no idea. So 40 miles, I'm just driving in this car, and I was thinking I was doing something wrong, you guys. I probably was. But I have to say, we did get to the village. The car did not blow up. Everything was fine. I relaxed. So then I get into the hotel check-in. I'm like, okay, I got here. I can relax. I can remember the truth of me. I can do nothing wrong. Okay, I forgive all of that. I get in the car. I had to back up. That was just something else, you guys. But you know what? I did remember there's nothing I can do wrong. I remembered I'm totally, wholly equipped to handle everything. And I got at the Google and the YouTube, thank goodness. And the only other trouble I ran into was getting gas on the way back. But I did get through that. And the real thing I should have done was spoke up for myself, right? And I learned something. But forgive everything. So this is another choice point. Renew your knowledge of your divine identity. Remind yourself there is nothing you can do wrong. Forgive everything. Affirm, I am wise and have all the answers inside of me always. I am always equipped to handle any situation I encounter. And that is the truth of you. So the final thing is I just want to say that I know this is one of those simple but not easy, right? And the final thing is that I read every morning is that you are loved and cherished dearly forever. Sounds a lot like love only, right? This is the truth of who you are. You are loved and cherished dearly forever. You do not have any strings or conditions on that value and worth. We get a lot of messages telling us that there's certain things we need to change about ourselves in order to be acceptable, to be loved. And I'm here to tell you, none of that is true. When Myrtle Fillmore started Unity, what she started doing then was people started coming to her because they saw the changes within her. And as they started seeing the changes within her, they was like, can you help me? And she's like, I can hold a mirror up for you. I can sit with you. I can help you remember who you are. I can't do it for you, but I can help you do it for yourself. Then her husband took it to headquarters and went right along with her. They started Silent Unity. They started Unity as we know it today. And it was all about friends helping friends. So I can tell you, I know sometimes it's hard. When that choice point arrives, I know sometimes we don't really know how to do it. It's like we are willing to let it go, but we don't know how. And this is where I say you are loved and cherished dearly forever. You find a friend. You call Silent Unity. You use their app. You contact us for prayer. You contact one of our prayer chaplains. You talk to a friend. Join one of our groups. Find someone who knows this about you. I'm here to tell you, I know this about you, whether I know you or not, right here and now. It all starts right here and now, always. Right here and now. There's nothing you can do wrong. You are loved and cherished dearly forever, right here and now. And you have nothing, absolutely nothing to fear. You are among friends. So this week, I just encourage you all to just remember when those choice points come. Just remember that it's an opportunity for you to let it go. To let that go, those ideas and thoughts and beliefs that you just don't want anymore. Gently let it go. And just remember the truth of who you are. And that is what I ask you to do. And thank you very much.
So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. 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 I will share, I will share, I will share. I will share this love.
Each and every one of us is. We are each sacred, each of us divine, each of us divine spirit expressing as we are. I take a moment, I recognize and know that for each and every one of us. I recognize and know that each of us stands taller, shines our bright a bit brighter because of our presence here today, that we share this with one another, that we share this with the world, and as so we make the world that much better for ourselves and for others too. And for this I say amen.
I will share, 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 I will share this love, so sacred, so secret, so precious, this love, so sacred, so secret, so precious, this love, this love, this love, this love.
Thank you all.
Ooh. I'm in a spot now, I almost feel like saying, let's wrap her up and go. But we still have business to conduct. So this week's sharing speaker is Laura Cass.
Me, it's me. No, you can't wrap it up because I haven't talked yet. All right. Good morning, all you beautiful people. So that was so inspiring what Susan talked about. You know, this is the time in our service every week when someone stands up and talks to you about the importance of giving and supporting the church, which is supporting yourselves, basically. Truly it is. And so listening to Susan and thinking about renewing. And so every week we are here renewing our spiritual selves. I mean, this is why we come. I know that's why I am here, and I'm sure the same with all of you. And so along with that renewing comes not only our feel-good, but as members of the church and beings who are here, that we are supporting the church in every way that we can. And we do that through a lot of different ways. We have lots of volunteers here. We have people who share by all the giving process all the time. And so this morning I'm asking you to do that, to really look inside yourselves and saying, what am I renewing? What am I renewing? Am I renewing my faith? I'm renewing my belief in what's taking, well, as Jonathan says, I don't know what you believe. We all believe something different. But, you know, whatever it is that you are here seeking that really feeds your soul. So there's many ways to do that. You know, you can actually send a check. I guess people still write checks. Send a check to the office. You could go online and give. You could access the QR code and something in the basket this morning. Or if you like to do what I do automatic giving. So no matter where I am, it happens. So like Susan said, that automatic stuff. So yeah, that works. So thank you in advance for everything. And every single gift is from you and for you. Bless you.
Shall we stand for our offertory?
Yes. Stay up.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude around me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
And
I'm so grateful.
here to bless our gifts is one of our great prayer chaplains, Sandy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So do we know how to bless? Absolutely, we know how to bless. So let's get our hands going. Let's get some great, great energy out. They know, turn to everybody. And here we go. We're going to say our oh, yes, I'm so grateful. Okay, so we're all together. Let's say it. We bless these gifts. We see these gifts going out and blessing our community and the world. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Okay, so we have some announcements for this week. And okay. Okay, so we have next week is going to be the our potluck, the last Sunday of the month. Now, I've heard some people, as I wander around, say things like, "Oh, I can't go. I forgot to bring something." You don't get off the hook that easy. There's a couple of other options. One, we have a little jar with love offering, and you throw a couple bucks in there or whatever you choose to. But I didn't make any food. I don't have anything to really throw in the basket or in the jar. You're still not off the hook. I'm sure that somewhere within you, you have a smile. So if you're willing to come over and give us a smile, come on in, because we'd really rather have you in there than not. This is a community. This is your community. And it's the community that we want to feel like one, that we're all loved. So please show up for that. And now, this is next Sunday. So now after the service today, we do have a social time too. So please come on over, sharing some coffee or juice, or just to say hello to everybody. Is there any other announcements I absolutely have to make?
We're ready for that, please.
Okay. So
Thank yous for a minute here.
okay.
Oh.
So looks like we have another announcement here. So if you direct your attention up to the wall here.
Hello, everyone. Hello, spiritual family. Today is Thursday, not for you, but today is Thursday, April 20th, 2023, and today is the day I begin. I'm in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, and today is the day I begin walking the Camino, 500 miles to Compostela. And I wanted to just be able to check in with you and say hello and let you know that I'm thinking about you. But I also want you to know I've carried the daily word with me. And the daily word today is perfect. So if you go back and look at the daily word from Thursday, April 20th, by the time you're seeing this, the daily word today is guidance. And it reads like this: I walk by the light of God. Every question has an answer and every problem can be solved. When it is difficult to see my way through, I remember the light of God is always shining, ever illuminating the right and perfect path forward. I need only open my eyes and heart to it. The more I rely on my faith to show me the way, the brighter the guiding light gleams, and the more easily I follow it home like the luminous glow of a full moon on a clear night. As I think through a situation, I affirm I will know all I need. I affirm all I will need to at the right and perfect time for the next step. Pausing in prayer to listen, my guidance opens the curtains I had closed over the windows of awareness. I see clearly and my spirit soars. And Psalm 32:8 reads, I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. It's like the daily word knew what was happening today. So far, this journey has been extraordinary, as I only arrived in France 2 days ago. I've already met a number of wonderful people, and today I put one foot in front of the other. Let my path be illuminated by the guidance of the infinite wisdom within. And I look forward to seeing you again with more to tell. By the way, isn't this beautiful? It's extraordinary. Look, there's some pilgrims. They're all setting off. And it is 7:30 in the morning here, and if I don't get started, I won't make my destination tonight. Today I walk almost 20 miles. It's one of the longest days. It's also one of the harder days as I walk over the Pyrenees. So keep an eye out. I'll see you soon. Peace and blessings. Be well.
Is there any other announcements, Don? That's true. Okay.
There we go, William.
All right. So
Now we're on flow.
okay. You guys don't know this, but I'm really challenging our technical crew with what I do up here. So next week we have our very own Reverend William Gill is gonna be our message giver, and our musical guest, a wonderful performer, Elise Carver. I already mentioned the potluck, so I'm getting hungry already, so make sure you show up. Ecstatic dance experience. This would be Sherry. I'm telling you, if you want to have some fun, this is the person to be with. And today's prayer chaplains are Sue Craik and Sandy Solomon. They're both over there. They'll be in the middle after the service in case you need a moment of prayer. And thank yous. So our thank yous is once again our technical crew. Thank you for putting up with me. Our keeper of the flames, Laura Cass. Our prayer chaplains, Sandy Solomon, Sherry Hoffman, and Laura Cass. Our speaker today, and you really were wonderful, Susan Smith. I don't know what to say about our band. You guys are magnificent. And yes, I had my seatbelt on. Thank you to Aaron Anderson, our guest vocalist. And now to complete our time here today, let's share together the prayer of divine awareness. I am infinite love. I am infinite love. I am infinite power. I am infinite presence. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. And so it is. Amen. And to take us out,
Now there on earth, for it has begun with me. Now there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God our Creator, family all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, and this is the moment now.